Okay, so let's look at this Pythagorean theorem distance between 2 points. All right? So, distance between 2 points requires that you have a coordinate grid. Okay? Real quick on your coordinate grid, just as a reminder, the axis that goes up and down is your y-axis. The axis that is horizontal goes left to right is your x-axis. Okay? And when you see a diagonal that sits across a coordinate grid like this, 99% of the time right now it's just Pythagorean theorem. Okay? So the question is, how are we going to solve Pythagorean theorem? Because there's no right triangle. We're going to make a right triangle by drawing it in right here. We're going to draw in the right triangle. Okay? And you can go ahead and put in your right angle. You see it right there. Okay, this is going to require you, if you can count to 10, you can probably do this part. You're going to be required to count to find the measure of A and the measure of B. Where is C? We're going to draw our arrow across and label this side as C. We can already tell that this side is B and this side over here is A. And here's specifically how you're going to count. Here's how you're not going to count. You're not going to count these corners. You're not going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. You're going to count the boxes. We're going to say this is 1 box, 2 boxes, 3 boxes, 4 boxes, 5 boxes. You're going to count the boxes. A equals what?
5.
Okay. Now let's count B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What is B? B is 8. Okay, so just so we're on the same page, I got A equals 5, B equals 8, and C is I don't know yet. All right. Now, just so we're clear, if B is 8, what's a reasonable number for C? 9's a reasonable number, right? It's probably, just so you know, it's going to be some kind of decimal because it's a diagonal, so it's not perfectly on the boxes. It's going to be some decimal, but a reasonable answer is 9, a little bit more than 8. How are we going to solve that? First, we're going to write A squared plus B squared equals what? C squared. We have A is 5, so I drop in 5 squared, plus B is 8, so I drop in 8 and I square that because that's what the formula calls for. And C, don't know. Okay, simple. This is simple as Pythagorean theorem finding the hypotenuse. So now, on this side, as I'm teaching you, I want to go ahead and show you a little shortcut what we've been talking about. You can go ahead and do side 1, 5 squared plus 8 squared, just like this in your calculator. Okay, if you do that, that'll give you the entire side of the area of the two smallest perfect squares, which is 89. Which equals C squared. Okay? Just to be clear, it's not 89. The distance from here to here is not 89. That's a ridiculous answer. So, to get from C squared to C, we would have to take the square root of C squared. And what we do to one side? So we have to take the square root of 89. Okay? So we simply come in here, we get our square root house up, type in 89. And I've got this long decimal, 9.43398. We'll stop there. And on this particular assignment, I want you to round to the nearest to the nearest tenth. To the nearest tenths. To the nearest tenths. Remember, the tenth is the number that changes 10 cents at a time. That's going to be the 4, is the 10 cents at a time. Circle the 3 after it, draw an arrow back. Is that 3 big enough to change that 4?
No.
So if I round to the nearest tenth, C is going to equal 9.4. Put a box around that. Now, is that a reasonable answer to what we said C would be?
Yeah.
9.4? Absolutely. That's about what we said it was going to be, but we knew it was going to be a decimal. I think we're starting to get it. Praise God. All right, let's look at these last two. I'm going to let you work on these last two, but remember, so immediately you see the diagonal. I have to find out how far it is. Go ahead and draw your right triangle. You're going to count the boxes. Here's C, here's B, and here's A. Count the boxes before you get started. Okay? Same with 3. The one thing I want to point out about this, it's okay if you create the right triangle up here. That's fine. You can create the right triangle. It doesn't matter which side. It's going to be exactly the mirror image. So you can put your right angle here, draw an arrow down. This is C. This side's going to be B. And the smallest side's going to be A. Go ahead and finish these 3 up. Raise your hand and turn it over. You can finish the 2 on the back. Raise your hand if you have any questions. I'll come around and help you. Great job.